What's happening? Chris here. Want to bring you guys a little update on Litecoin and some of the things that I'm seeing, guys. And here's that pullback that we've been talking about. Remember how we said, we had that big spike up to the 200-day moving average there, and then we were most likely looking for that pullback. And I was looking at those areas, the 0.382 around that 37.44, and I'm also going to be looking around that 50, which is at 34.49, which I really feel like we could pull back into this area, guys. Test the 50 where we had all this previous resistance that turned support. And then also this trend line that's coming up as well. And that's also coinciding with the 200-day moving or the 20-day EMA, which is going to be in between this 50 and the 0.382. But the thing I wanted to really bring up to you guys is this bearish engulfing candle that is happening to Litecoin. And I want you guys to pay very close attention to that. And if you guys could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you guys enjoy these videos and want me to keep doing them. We're trying for 100 likes on this video. Can't do it without you guys. And I think some of the last videos that we did, guys, we're getting 200 or 300 likes, and you guys just blew me away. So I'm so thankful for y'all, and I couldn't do it without you. So what you're seeing here, when we study candles, remember how I really like to look into candles, study that Eastern technique, that Japanese candlestick charting book, and all the things that I look at. What you're seeing here is a bearish engulfing candle, and you're seeing that now with being down 8%. Do you see this candle here, guys? This is completely engulfing this candle, and this also took place at that 200-day moving average. Remember how I was talking about in one sharp move, we can't really go from $32 to break all the way up over top of this 200-day moving average at around $46, $47, right in that range in one shot. You're just not going to have that, guys, unless something crazy happened. Like we have some type of approval from some ETF or something nuts where RSIs could get extremely overextended, but that's not the case. And, when we ran into this 200-day, I said this is going to be significant resistance for us. And what we're going to need to do, guys, we had that run. Now we're pulling back. We're going to have to charge back up before we make another attempt at it. So I feel like we still could go lower, especially maybe even to this area, guys. This is going to be another spot where I'm going to be looking at. Right in there around that 39, 35. We want to see basically what $40 is going to do. You can see now we're even dropping down 9%. So remember how we talked about don't FOMO into anything. There's no reason to FOMO into anything, and this is the reason. There's always going to be a pullback because you have to remember that scalp traders, it's going to start with them. They're going to take their profit first. Then it's going to be day traders, and then potentially swing traders and long-term investors. And that's just kind of how it works down the line. And that's like, guys, like when I said I took profits, I saw this huge spike come in, and I took profits up in this area here, and then we had these two other candles that pushed up, which I was okay with because we started to get overextended. I was taking profit on the 1 hour chart. It was around, I think, 97, 95, somewhere in there. And then the 4 hour chart was also up in the high 80s, and I had to leave, guys. I had to run to go to a client's house, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my profit. I'm going to lock it in, and that's what I did, and it was a nice profit, and I was happy that I did that. Now I'm waiting for that pullback to see if I want to go long again. For all I know, we could break through this support here, and we could come back down, and we could test these moving averages along with this lower trend line. The lower trend line is what I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to as well. If that's lost, then, guys, we could really break down hard, and we could break down really fast, and we could hit that, $17, that $13. But that's if this trend line down here breaks. So far, it's been very strong. We had this nice wide gap. We came back down in here. We've been working up this trend line. Then we had a volume explosion and a price explosion through this high where we had the shooting star candle as well. Went up to that 200, and now we're pulling back. And this happened all on a lot of volume. And remember, guys, don't ever be afraid to take your profit. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. The book that I read, Rule the Freaking Markets, I've read it 3 or 4 times. That's what the guy always talks about. That and stop losses. You have to have stop losses. They're so important. And you have to remember that people are always going to be taking profits, and people are also going to be shorting. A lot of guys shorted right off this 200-day. They saw that we had rejection right there, and now they're seeing this come in. But I want to see how this candle closes today, what's going to happen with it. If it closes how it is now on the 1 day, that is a bearish engulfing candle, and we're most likely going to be getting pushed down to at least this $40, and then potentially around this 20 EMA, which would be around $36. So for me, guys, I'm going to be looking at the 40 for a potential bid. But if I'm not seeing good volume or I'm not seeing good things, I'm going to probably start lowering it and seeing what happens around this 36.63 and also around that 50 of the Fibonacci retracement, which is right around in here, that 37.55, that 34.59 at the 50. So right in between that range, that 31.62 and 34.59, I may be putting in some bids, but remember guys, I'm not your financial advisor and these are just things I'm doing. I know the Litecoin has the halving coming up. There's so many good things for Litecoin, but it's also going to be controlled by what Bitcoin does. You know, if Bitcoin would have continued to run, there's a huge spark for Bitcoin. Who knows what? Maybe Litecoin could have closed up above that 200-day, but we didn't close up above it. We wicked into it, and we didn't close up above it. Remember how we talk about the closes, and we also talk about the moving averages being very strong overhead resistance or very strong support. So that's why down here, in terms of layering a bid, that 50 in this 20-day EMA, that's not a bad spot to look at right there, around that 34.59 to see if we can catch a bounce from there and maybe go back up here and test this 200 again and see what happens with it. So I'm looking at that. And then also, whenever we do these things, we want to look at the Bollinger Bands as well, because the Bollinger Bands, when they get real tight, they're going to show us that a break to the upside or the downside is going to happen. But they're also going to show us if we get overextended. And let's take a look at them here. All right, let's check the Bollinger Bands. Let's see, there they are. All right. So Bollinger Bands, look how overextended we were up here. And now you're seeing that pullback, and we probably will close within this Bollinger Band. A lot of times you return to that middle band, and that again would put us around that 34.68. So there's some things coinciding with that middle band as well. But look, guys, remember right here, look how tight these bands got. And what happened once they got tight? We exploded up. You could either anticipate that move to the upside or the downside, but you have to anticipate a move. Look up here. Bands got tight. What happened? We had a huge move to the downside. That's how it happens. So, you know, I'm keeping my eye on these type of things, guys. We'll check out the RSI as well. Let's see. So with the RSI, we started to get really overextended. When we made this move up to the 200, we were up to around 77. We know that 70 is overbought and 30 is oversold, but those are normal markets. Cryptocurrency, you can get up in the 95s and you can get down as low as 7 or 8. We've seen it before. So you have to look for all the confirmations. You have to add up, you know, what's happening with the RSI, what's happening with the Bollinger Bands, what's happening with the candles. Just like this candle, a bullish engulfing candle, that's a very bearish candle. If that were to come in, we're going to see us get pushed back down. I promise you, that's what will happen, guys, with a bearish engulfing candle if we see continued follow through with that. You know, we may only have a pullback to the 0.236 and we may blast off over this. We have to plan for that as well, but the 200-day is strong, because if we close above the 200-day, that would almost put us in the start of that next bull market, but we have to factor in what's Bitcoin going to do in all this. So keep that in mind, guys. But right now, I mean, I'm not seeing a ton here on the RSI. We're pointing down. We're at 65, so there definitely could be some more cooling off. We may come down. Remember, we want to draw support and resistance on RSI as well. Come down to maybe that area around the 42. We don't want to get trapped under the 40, so we want to treat that as support. And then up here, we would treat as resistance. So we're just kind of working in this channel now. But I want you guys to let me know what you're doing. Pay attention to this bearish engulfing candle, and we're going to have to see how this plays out. And I'll continue to keep you guys updated the best I can. Maybe get another video out today, potentially looking at Bitcoin, or I may do one that's like of, you know, Mise Go and Ethereum and XLM and a bunch of different coins all together. But we'll see, guys. I got to get a light workout in, still got some more work to do, things like that, but I'm trying to do all I can to get these videos out to you and let you guys kind of make up your mind, and you tell me what you think of this bearish engulfing candle that's forming. God bless you all.